And now, live in studio, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. He's a successful entrepreneur, published author, top listing agent, a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes.
Yes, here we are again, another day committed to being your consumer advocate. It's all about helping you understand your buying decisions, making you just a bit more street smart here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. We don't care if you're climbing a corporate ladder or if you throw a ladder in your truck on the way to work. This show's for you. We want to help you win. Save our hotline number in your phone. At some point, you may need it. 813-670-7372. 813-670-7372 is our consumer advocate hotline, and we want to help you win.
The only thing I'm addicted to right now is winning.
ConsumerQB.com. We've got a great lineup for you today here. Wonderful show coming up. We've got Aaron Case from Mold Zero. He's going to be talking about all those different misnomers around mold and sometimes your indoor air quality. Your health is related directly to your indoor air quality. Aaron Case coming in from Mold Zero here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Also, we're going to talk with Lisa Walls, the Ghost Publishing. Going to talk a lot about marketing, potential to write a book, and how that can help you grow your sphere of influence, your business, especially for those business owners out there and account executives, folks that are involved in business and sales. Lisa Walls is a wealth of knowledge with the Ghost Publishing. You've heard Eli Gonzalez on our show as well. And we're going to wrap the show up with James D. Jerome, show producer. We're going to talk about a lot of our expert contributors, the partners of the show, and kind of the way that the show works, the model on how it works, and that consumer advocate approach that we have. And again, 7 years on air now, Apple TV, Amazon, Roku. We've added our TV show version over the years. We can help you win as well. 4 o'clock drive time, 860 The Answer. Weekend show on 102.5 The Bone. Sunday mornings, we're on 102.5 The Bone. Feel good story of the day as well. Nurse stops to save the life on the way to her daughter's wedding. So a real cool story about a nurse that pulls over on the way to her wedding, her daughter's wedding, and helps save a life on the Consumer Quarterback Show. So it's an uplifting show. It's all about positivity around here and helping you win in any marketplace. That's what we say here. A couple of hot listings. We've got 0 Alt 19, aka 516 Alt 19 in Palm Harbor. Vacant land, a great opportunity to buy land right here in Tampa Bay from the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. Build an office, mixed-use property, and the owner's also throwing in $40,000 worth of plans that are already been approved. Water and sewer are connected, and impact fees have been paid. 516 Alt 19 in Palm Harbor. Great buying opportunity here in one of the best little small towns in all of Tampa Bay. That is Palm Harbor. So a great opportunity. Check out all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com. All right, follow us online at Brandon Rhymes1 on Instagram and Twitter, the Platinum MVP team on Facebook, and we're going to be right back after this short break. Don't go anywhere. Coming up, Aaron Case, Mold Zero, moldzero.com, former police officer from California. Now he's helping out Brandon and Faust and his team over at Mold Zero. Stay with us. Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
Thanks for listening to my daddy's show. For more information, go to consumerqb.com.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com. listening to the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
All right, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. Brandon Rhymes here. I'm your host of the Consumer Quarterback Show, powered by the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. Published author and professional speaker. Check out our book on Amazon, Become the MVP in Your Industry by Surfing the Radio Waves, kind of detailing our 7-year journey on radio here and how it's grown our real estate business and helped us in recruiting and growing our sales. We're a top 1% real estate team now here in Tampa Bay, so real proud to say that. And we enjoy doing the show. We serve as a consumer advocate. It's all about helping you understand your buying decisions. So make sure you save our hotline number in your phone. At some point, you may need it. 813-670-7372. That's our consumer advocate hotline. 813-670-7372. That's our consumer advocate hotline.
You used to call me on my cell phone.
And we want to bookmark our website as well, consumerqb.com. Plethora of information available for you on our website, consumerqb.com. A hot property listing for this segment, 422 Wildwood Way in BELLEAIR. This is one of our hot listings down in BELLEAIR, Pinellas County. Great county, great opportunity to own real estate, 2-story home, $100,000 of recent upgrades, 422 Wildwood Way in BELLEAIR. A great opportunity, close to the beaches. You've got surrounded by top-notch golf at this beautiful property on Wildwood Way in BELLEAIR, Florida. We got 19206 US Highway 19, Clearwater. Now, this is a car lot that's available. It's a great opportunity for a 1031 exchange to own a corner lot, freestanding building on US 19, listed over $1 million. So reach out, qualified buyers. We'd love to show it to you. And check out all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com.
Somewhere sunny and 75.
And this segment is brought to you by wholebodyfuel.com, the official meal delivery service of the Consumer Quarterback Show. Wholebodyfuel.com. They've got the protein donuts, world famous protein donuts. Excellent food, conveniently packaged and delivered to you once a week. So you get my drop off on Sundays, and I love it. I have this food ready to go, convenient, eating healthy. That's one of the keys to longevity and having a healthy immune system. Wholebodyfuel.com. Reach out, let them know the real estate quarterback sent you. Take them up on special offers and incentives. All right, in studio today, we got Aaron Case, Mold Zero. Welcome in, sir.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Appreciate being here.
Yeah, my pleasure, man. So you working with Brandon Faust over there, Mold
Yes, sir.
Zero. Mentioned you guys go way back, childhood friends.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about your background and your qualifications.
Well, I basically was a police officer for several years out in California, and that's actually where I did my education out in California, and I studied physics and microbiology, and then to kind of cut to how I got into Mold Zero, I was in Philadelphia at the time, and I was actually headed back to California, and Brandon is a childhood friend, and he called me up and asked me to come down and work with him at Mold Zero, and it's been a fun ride ever since. I've been here a little over 2 years.
Nice. Okay. So jumping right into it then, you got a lot of single family properties, townhomes, condos, commercial
Absolutely.
buildings. They've got mold in their building or their home, and they don't even know it in many cases, right?
Yeah. Well, I would start right off the bat. If you're looking to buy a home, I always tell my friends when I'm talking to them about that, you should do 2 inspections. You should do a home inspection, and a good home inspector is worth a handful of diamonds,
Yep.
right? And you should also do a mold inspection. And a lot of times I like, we can do that. Also, it's good to get an independent inspector that doesn't treat, he only inspects because he doesn't have a vested interest.
Good
That's
point.
another thing you can do.
Good point.
And I recommend that a lot. And sometimes the issue's minor, sometimes it's major. I know mold is a very scary word, especially in real estate, but
Yep.
we work with a lot of realtors, and we try to take the fear out of mold. It's not like some big bad guy. It's a microscopic organism. It shoots out what we call spores, which is basically its babies. It's a hard shell with DNA. The spore's not alive. They have the potential for life. If they find what they need, they'll crack open and grow, to keep it simple. And, basically mold needs the life triangle: air, water, food, and maybe throw a little warmth in there. So I always recommend using a humidistat You can get it attached to, it's like a thermostat with a humidity control basically. And what that'll do is that'll regulate the humidity by using the AC. So it'll kick in the AC when it detects the humidity going up beyond a certain percentage, but it won't just run it constantly. So it's also
a humidistat?
Yes.
Now, is that a separate purchase that the homeowner might want to make, or is it already built into there? Okay.
No, it's runs anywhere from $40 to $100. You can get them at Home Depot. It's basically a thermostat with a humidity control. Okay. Right. So that controls the humidity through the AC. And that's really useful. And, basically when it comes to mold, follow the moisture. Moisture control is mold control.
Yes.
Okay. So you really want to make sure you don't have moisture issues in your home.
Yeah.
And that's one way of helping that. If you're basically 61% and above humidity, relative humidity, you're going to have a higher potential of growth.
Right.
Okay.
And that's where a lot of people go wrong with their their second homes, their vacation homes. They, especially if they're from the Northeast or somewhere where it might be customary to leave a home and not worry about that. But down here in Florida, if you leave the property, we're recommending what as real estate agents, as professionals in the business, at least keep that air conditioning at around 78, 79 degrees.
Absolutely.
That way it's going to still keep the humidity out. It's not going to have it super cool, burning up through a lot of energy and fuel. Right. But at least it's going to keep that humidity low. Oh,
absolutely. And we run into that all the time. Snowbirds is definitely a client, like frequent clients of ours.
Yeah.
Because what happens is they just don't think about it.
Yeah.
Right. And they're gone for 6 months, and then maybe they're turning it completely off or running at a higher temperature like 86. And, that can turn like a humidistat control, $100 problem into a $10,000 problem. If
Absolutely.
You've got, a frequent type of mold you'll run into would be like Cladosporium or Penicillium aspergillus.
Yep.
Those have a lower threshold for moisture. They're more humid based, right? And that's typically what you run into when you leave your AC off.
Yeah.
Right? So if you are, like a snowbird and you're not here more than, a few months out of the year, I would recommend humidistat, running the AC, below 78, but also have somebody check on your home.
Absolutely.
Neighbors, friends.
Is that your phone?
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, when you look at that, have somebody check up on the home. There's caretakers, there's home services for that. Definitely do that. Now let's jump into something a little bit, out of the norm, because sometimes people say, okay, well, I'm talking about residential real estate or my business maybe. Health. This comes into big play when it comes to health. Even Brandon had a story similar to where he had some kind of illness. He wasn't sure what it was. The doctors don't really know. Okay, they're going through all these different checklists. Is it this? Is it that? No, it's not. He ends up finding it in his home, and I'm sure you had other customers that have had the similar.
Absolutely. I have my own story. My stepson is 6, and he was getting runny noses every night, and I could not figure it out. And his mother was getting worried, and we just didn't know what was going on. He was hyperactive and angry, and we had the house we had at the time. We since moved, but the house we had at the time, it had a Florida room, and the Florida room floor was lower than the rest of the house.
Okay.
So water from the backyard was running into the Florida room, and there was mold growing on the double doors that led to our master bedroom.
Wow.
So he was getting a full blast of mold every night when he'd sleep.
Oh, man.
And then we were away from the house for a while, he'd start to calm down. And so, as soon as I was able to actually handle and treat that the symptoms went away within about a week or 2.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's a big time issue because people don't see it. Sometimes it's behind the walls.
Yep.
It's hiding behind the drywall. It gets in there. And is it coming through? Sometimes you find it is when you backtrack it. Is it coming through the stucco, like through the rain? The soffits?
That's a more complicated question. It could be what you're dealing with stucco is you're dealing with whether it has porosity or not. There's a test you can do to check for porosity. If it fails a porosity test, then porosity meaning tiny holes.
Porous.
Okay? Yeah, porous, exactly. Then you would have moisture coming through. One thing to check on exterior homes that I run into a lot is make sure your or your neighbor's sprinklers aren't constantly hitting your wall. Because that over time can create an issue, especially when you get those that look like hairline cracks in the stucco, and then the sprinklers hitting them, and it can create a situation behind the wall that eventually will make its way into the house. Also, homes that have crawl spaces. One thing I would be I always like to inspect the outside of the home, and one of the reasons is if the ventilation in the crawl space is not clear, you can create a moisture trap under the house. And a lot of times what you'll see, especially in older Florida homes, you got the hardwood, you'll see buckling, right? And then you'll see growth and water damage on the subfloor. So the vents and windows, for lack of a better term, that allow air to go through the crawl space, you got to make sure those are clear and that air is going through there. Ventilation is your friend.
Right.
Before we had central AC, we had open windows and big fans.
Yep.
And even if you see them in these old Florida homes, they square, they open and the vents open, the air comes in. Yep. That was how they handled ventilation back then. But now we have central AC. So it's very important to make sure your AC is functioning correctly. It's maintained, cleaned periodically. These are all like just key points in prevention. Yeah.
We're talking with Aaron Case here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, moldzero.com, moldzero.com. You've heard Brandon Faust here on the show as well. And when you think about mold, it's one of those kind of a silent killer. It's hard to find. Tell us a little bit about, what services you guys offer, how you can go in and help consumers.
Well, we always offer a free in-home evaluation. Okay, this does not include testing. There's always going to be a fee because we got to pay the labs, right? But I or Brandon, or we have a couple other guys, we can come out and actually inspect your home and take a look, see if there is an issue, if there's anything we can do to help you. And we're a family operated and owned company. We have a very good culture, and we really like to help people, and we love helping families. And so we're all about wanting to come out and do what we can do to help you out. Whether we end up treating your home or we don't, we at least want to give you some helpful advice and be very forthright, and information is key. So whatever we can do to help you out, we definitely want to.
Yeah, absolutely. And you think about in Florida too, the termites, they cause a lot of damage, and that could potentially make it more porous, I bet, for mold to come through.
Yeah, I mean, anywhere where you have porous cellulose material, organic material, mold's purpose in nature is to break down organic material, where that can be just about anything. That can be dust motes, that can be wood, that can be gypsum or drywall. Any organic material, that's what it does. And the mold growth releases spores we talked about earlier, and the spores can travel throughout the house, okay? And they're microscopic. They're a meter, a meter, about a yard, right? For us Americans.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So a micrometer, right, is like a millionth of a meter. It's tiny. Wow. So a mold spore is going to run in the micrometer range. Like, this may be the exact measurement, but somewhere in between 15, 20 microns typically. It can be a little bigger, it can be a little smaller, but that's what you're seeing. What that means is about 10 to 15 of them can sit on the tip of your hair. The tip of your hair, on the average, runs about 100 to 150 micrometers or microns. A micron is a micrometer. Again, that's a millionth of a meter.
So you can't see it by visible eye. Right.
No, the only thing that's visible to the naked eye would be the actual growth when it starts to grow.
And then it's too late.
Yeah,
at some point, too late, right? Yeah. So that good tips right there. That's good stuff. And then also insurance side. We just had an attorney on yesterday's show from Cantor Pantaluga. We're talking about Jeff Groover was on the show. He's talking about how when hurricanes come and the insurance challenges that sometimes, the insurance companies say, no, it's wind. Oh, no, it was flood. It was a water event that caused it. What do you see as far as insurance claims in your line of work with Mold Zero? Insurance
can cover. It really depends on whether it's a covered loss event. That's what we need to determine. One thing I will say right off the bat is be on top of your claim. So if you have some sort of water damage or you discover it, it's not like a total dead end, but it's best if you report it within 14 days of discovery. That's what a lot of insurance companies want to see. So you want to report that as soon as possible. And we can come out and take a look on the free evaluation right off the bat and, help to start to determine if that's the direction you want to go with the insurance. And at that point, with anytime we're dealing with insurance, we really want to be by the book. That's maybe where my law enforcement nature kind of comes in. I want to do it by the book, right?
Yeah. And thanks for your service, by the way.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
It's unbelievable right now. We're talking about defunding police and that type of thing. It's really a challenge.
It's a crazy time for police. I was on the road the other day and I saw a cop and I rolled down my window and I just said, hey man, thanks for your service, man. I know what it's like out there. So I really appreciate what you do because they got a really tough job right now.
Very tough. Yeah. Especially when you have, certain politicians not backing them up and things like that.
It's such a just charged climate that,
Yeah. It is, and it's election year stuff, right?
Yeah, right.
There we go. Let's get through 2020.
Yeah, I know, right?
So
it's been an interesting year, hasn't it?
It sure has. Yeah, somebody had posted. I think Brandon actually posted, and the award for best drama year, Oscar winner is year 2020. Absolutely.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, Aaron
2020,
Case-
the drama queen year.
Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely wins the drama queen.
Yeah.
Give us a final thought. We talk, sometimes we do on our show like a lightning round consumer tip. Give us a final thought, words of wisdom, and parting words of wisdom from you.
Well, you have to be bold to fight mold, and only heroes work at Mold Zero. No, I'm just kidding.
Nice.
But, no, I would say, hey, if you think you have a mold issue, give us a call. We'll come out for a free evaluation. Don't be afraid to give us a call. The office staff are very knowledgeable and can help you as well. And I'd love to meet you. Mold can come in many forms. You can have odor. You may not have an odor. Like I said earlier, you're fighting a microscopic army. But we are equipped with the knowledge and tools to really help you sort it out and find out, determine if you even have a problem or actually offer a real solution to take that fear and worry and stress off your plate. And we do work with insurance and, we want to help you out.
Awesome. Yeah. And this question just kind of popped in my head. Sometimes you have properties that are, real estate investors are always looking for bargains, right? They're looking for deals, for opportunities. Sometimes like, okay, well, this was a kind of a damaged home. It's been sitting a little while.
You got to be careful about that.
So the realtor coming in, the realtor's like, well, you guys can go look. I'm not, or I've gone through before. How much are you putting yourself at risk for a quick walkthrough? If you just did like a quick 1.5 minute, 2 minute walkthrough, is that still enough exposure to get in trouble?
It's a bit of a complicated question or answer, but to make it simple, any exposure is not good, but some forms of mold are more dangerous than others. Yeah. The thing is, though, you don't know what type it is. You haven't tested in a lab. You don't know if it's a highly toxic mold like Stachybotrys or a less toxic one or an allergenic one. And even if it is allergenic, why would you want to expose yourself to that? Yeah. So I'm not saying don't do it or do it. What I'm saying is just be safe about it. And, really, it doesn't cost anything to have me go do free evaluation for you and walk through. I'm going to wear protective equipment, of course, because, I have a family I care about. I don't want to take it home, too.
These little masks, would these do anything with mold?
Well, it's better than nothing.
Better than nothing?
Yeah.
I just held up the basic medical mask there.
If I could comment on that, and that's a really good point you just brought up on real estate. So if you're looking for, like sometimes we look for distressed homes and, we want to make that, rapid turnaround, et cetera. Mold, if it has a big issue, that could be a substantial dollar amount. And that is definitely something to really think about. Yeah. I did an inspection maybe 6 months ago. I didn't know what I was walking into, and I opened the door and every single wall was covered. And you're almost better off demolishing it. Yeah. It was that kind of a deal. I'm not saying they're all like that.
Because if not, you got to strip it all down to the 2x4s, treat the 2x4s.
And sometimes get a structural engineer if you have to remove it. Like, it can be a very serious problem. Yeah. That can be a very substantial dollar amount. So whether it's, you want to do a quick turnaround, you want to get a distressed property, I would definitely recommend getting a mold inspection before you buy.
There you go. All right. Good job, Aaron. Thanks so much. Aaron Case, Mold Zero, moldzero.com. Text Mold if you'd like to reach out immediately. Sometimes we have these text message offers in case you're thinking about putting in touch with maybe a friend. Text Mold to 813-670-7372. Just pull out your smartphone, text the word mold to 813-670-7372. Free evaluation from Aaron and Brandon and their team over at Mold Zero. All right, great stuff. And when we come back, we got a feel-good story of the day. Nurse stops to save a life on the way to her daughter's wedding. Stay with us for our feel-good story of the day and more from our expert contributors here. We're going to talk about ghostwriting, publishing process, how to grow your sphere with our next guest. Stay with us. Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
This is Chris Voss, former FBI lead hostage negotiator and owner of the Black Swan Group, and you're listening to Consumer Quarterback Show hosted by my friend Brandon Rhymes.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com. listening to the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, online at consumerqb.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-670-7372.
All right, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. Brandon Rhymes here. I'm your host of the Consumer Quarterback Show, powered by the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty, helping you win in your real estate deals, buying, selling, or investing. Of course, we would love to talk to you. We help our sellers profit more on the sale of their real estate properties by featuring them live on air on our syndicated radio and TV show, the real estate properties. That is, we're gonna highlight your property here on our show and help you with exposure piece. It's such a key piece of the real estate game. 520 George Street South, Tarpon Springs is an example of a waterfront property right here on Lake Tarpon Springs. Beautiful property. 520 George Street South, private boat dock, mother-in-law suite. Great opportunity, less than $500,000 on the waterfront. Great opportunity here in beautiful Tampa Bay to own waterfront and live that waterfront lifestyle, that Florida lifestyle right here in beautiful Tampa Bay. KETCH Court, we got some lots available in Tarpon Springs. This is on KETCH Court. I got a $99,000 vacant lot available. I think we actually just did a price reduction on that. Got views of the Gulf of Mexico at KETCH Court, Tarpon Springs. Great buying opportunities here in beautiful Tampa Bay. Check out all of our real estate listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com. That's platinummvpteam.kw.com. And this segment is brought to you by Brothers Easy Moving, the official moving partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show. Brothers Easy Moving. Let them know the real estate quarterback sent you and take them up on those special offers and incentives, whether you're planning a local move, long distance move, packing, junk hauling, office moves. Reach out to Brothers Easy Moving. Gary Thacker and his team, they do a great job over there. And let them know that the real estate quarterback sent you. All right, we got Lisa Walls back in studio. Welcome back, Lisa.
Thanks for having me.
Hey, my pleasure. And you work with Eli Gonzalez, the Ghost Publishing and the godfather of ghostwriting himself. And when you look at a business perspective, I mean, there's so many applications to writing a book, but talk about, you got 3 tips to help people get started writing their book.
Well, I introduced these a little last time I was here, but they're really important. The first one, everybody is going to need, anybody who wants to write. Everybody thinks, I just need a laptop. No.
Right.
If you've gone somewhere, or if you're planning to go somewhere you've never been before, you would never dream of starting that trip without pulling up the map. You've got to have a tool that's going to be able to give you a path there. For writers, there are 2 great tools online. WriteR is one of them, and that's great for Windows computers. And Scrivener is the one most people use for Mac. Now, these were designed for fiction writers, but they're great for writers writing anything who need a roadmap and need to plot out their course.
Yeah, it's important. When you look at that, and then what about people just using the iPhone? Because slow typers. Sometimes people, I'm very slow. I'm kind of a hunt and pecker sometimes. What about using the iPhone, just dictating it in there and sending
Absolutely.
it over?
Voice to text is a gold mine opportunity if you're a slow typer and just the process seems laborious to you.
Yeah.
But you talk to yourself in the car and you can spout your ideas in an instant and they just flow. That's the tool for you. Is voice to text.
Now,
Absolutely.
if they wanted to bring you on as a ghostwriter to help them, first of all, what does that even mean? Like ghostwriter? I think some people let's start there. What is ghostwriters? What do they do?
Well, it can mean different things depending on what the writer needs. It could just simply be coaching them through the process, making sure they actually finish the book they started. It can just be getting them started, doing a launch pad with them and making sure they've got the path that makes sense for what they're trying to accomplish out of their book. But you need somebody who has an eye for what your goals are. Writing a business book is very different from writing another kind of book. Usually there's a purpose there that's practical, and a ghostwriter can help you, accomplish the goal you have for that book.
Yeah, absolutely. The book we're writing right now is to help give insight to, our radio and TV show model, the value at Keller Williams Realty that we bring, the value to our team. So we're having a good time talking with Eli, writing that book, putting in those nuggets that have really helped us grow over, a decade in real estate and 7 years now doing the show, and how we've utilized the different key advantages. So that's going to be a game changer if I'm recruiting a potential realtor to join my team. Hey, I'm the 1% that actually took the time to publish a book. I've actually published 3 books. This will be the 3rd book now. So that's a unique advantage that a lot of business owners should really take a hard look at.
Yeah, acquiring talent is a huge challenge,
Yes.
but it makes it a lot easier when you're recognized as a leader in your field.
Right. And it also leads to speaking opportunities. I was the MC for the Wine, Women, and Shoes event for Children's Cancer Center a few years ago, speaking in front of 500 people. Some people look at that as a nerve-wracking, and I'm very nervous. I love to leverage those times. I like to speak one to many. So I look at a book as another way that I can speak one to many. My radio and TV show, again, one to many. We syndicate that as a podcast, as our show on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, all those different sites. Again, you're leveraging your time, you're leveraging your knowledge, and you're able to speak one to many. That way you can exponentially grow your sphere of influence, your client base, so many different ways that you're going to be found. You got to be found these days if you're in sales.
Absolutely. And it's one of many platforms, but it's the only platform I can think of where you're in total control.
Right.
You control when it launches, you control how you start it, you control what's in it, you control whose hands it gets into, and how many potentially.
Yeah. And I've seen more and more people too start launching books like 6 months down the road, 3 months down the road. It's like they're talking about this book, building up this book, promoting this book on their either their YouTube channel or their podcast or both. Mm-hmm. And, hey, it's going to be released in August. It's like, wow, that's 2, 3, 4 months away sometimes. But there's a lot to do, a lot to be said, rather, when it comes to the launch, because if you want to be number one on iTunes and the Amazon releases, so they're trying to garner all this interest and have everybody buy at one time. That way they come up the ranks on some of those automated engines.
And that does help. Grassroots efforts are great. But when you work with somebody like us, I know we have a path to actually get to the New York Times bestseller list.
Nice. Now, what does that path look like?
Well, that's trade secret.
Trade secret. Okay. All right. There you go. So if you just joined us, by the way, we're talking with Lisa Walls here. She's a senior writer, theghostpublishing.com. You've heard Eli, the ghostwriter, on our Consumer Quarterback show here, The Ghost Publishing as well. He's helped me wrote my first book, and Captain Will Smith is also another author of his Falling from the Sky was his book. And he was actually wrongfully imprisoned, had a judge thrown off the bench. Interesting story. They're actually talking about making that into a movie now. So, interesting. You never know where this process could lead you.
Absolutely. And memoirs are becoming a real mechanism, too, in the business arena, because if you have a memoir that shows how you got to where you are in a very personal, relatable way, you've just now built an audience that might have never paid attention to you. And now they're fans. Yeah,
exactly. Talk about storytelling and story selling. The more that you can have these unique, interesting stories that are personal, how does that helps a tremendous amount when you're writing a book, correct?
Absolutely. I mean, everything we see now in our media, in advertising and marketing, it's encased in narrative. There's a story being told through a commercial if it's particularly good. It's touching. It's revealing. It says something a little deeper than just the product or service that's being discussed.
Yeah.
A book is an opportunity to do that at length and to make sure that it resonates with the reader in such a way as they never forget you. You've influenced them for the rest of their lives.
Right.
And they're telling to their children nuggets that they learned from your book. That's huge.
And the more that you can be relatable, you want to be top of mind. That's every salesperson's dream, especially in real estate. It's a very competitive industry. There's something like 30,000 realtors in the greater Tampa area. We have a population, a large population now, close to I think 4 million if you look at the greater Tampa Bay area. But when you look at that, the more that you can, number one, differentiate. And you always hear this traditional term of your unique selling proposition, right? Your USP. It really helps you with all those different areas as well.
Well, when you have a field that's that busy in that kind of profession, and your profession and others that are just, the field is full of people, differentiators are tough because everybody starts sounding alike. They're the same 13 differentiators that are thrown around, but nobody has your story.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody has lived your life. Nobody's had your experiences. Nobody's been mentored by who you've been mentored by. Nobody has taken away the lessons you have taken away.
Yeah.
That's unique to you.
Yeah.
That's the differentiator.
Yeah, exactly. In real estate, we're going to use professional photography, drone photography. We're going to fly the drone. We're going to have Matterport. Okay, everybody does that now. You know, it's not a differentiator. And that's what's really unique about, you know, with our team, again, with the radio TV show model, the social media stuff that we're doing with Keller Williams. So yeah, what else, Lisa, what else would you like to talk about we haven't really hit on yet? So many ways that we could go here with, you know, getting creative, marketing, et cetera.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are skittish because they're concerned they don't have the time it takes to commit to the process. And that is a real concern because there is time.
Yeah.
But we absolutely, and this is through our coaching clients or the clients we work with one-on-one, or actually writing for, we really stress no more than ever spend 2 or 3 hours a day, or anytime you sit down to write, spend no more than 2 to 3 hours at it. You will burn yourself out.
Yeah.
It does not have to be every day, and you will be fresher when you do sit down to write.
Yeah.
If you're running out of time, fine. Note what you didn't get down in bullet points and get back to that the next time. You've got a jumping off point for your next writing session. So time is manageable. It's the only thing that's truly finite in this world, but it's also the only thing you absolutely have control over in this world.
Absolutely. You know, wake up an hour earlier, stay up an hour later. So many times you hear the excuses. People have these, you know, someday I'll write that book, right? Well, get off of that island. You're stuck on that someday island, right? Get off that island and get out into, you know, the real world of people that actually get things done. They get results. They don't make excuses. They get results. And as little as 15, 20 minutes a day, if you put time into, like we mentioned, grab your iPhone, your Droid, talk for 15, 20 minutes into that, email it to yourself, email it to your ghostwriter. At some point, you're going to accumulate enough words. What is the average number of words, by the way, for a book?
The best-selling books and the ones that are really get traction in the marketplace are between 20 and 25,000 words. They're not real long.
Right.
So again, the time commitment is not as much as you think it might be. That's a book that can be really well produced inside 90 days.
And I think that, you know, that shorter version of a book, or 20 to 25,000 words, you know, today's age, it's people want that bite size. They want it faster. And if you look at a big book, you know, Tony Robbins wrote a book called Money Master the Game. That's a huge book, man. He interviewed all these great experts, billionaires, how they made all their hedge fund money, how they did it, and trying to get into their mind and give a blueprint for the average person, the average consumer on it. You know, hey, what do I need to know about money? How can I master the game? But he self-admittedly says that was a huge book. Most people are going to say they're going to shy away from it because, man, that's a time restraint. That's going to be, they're going to have excuses. But he wrote Unshakable, which is a smaller version of that same book, which is more concise. And I think to your point as well, people look for that concise angle.
Yeah, and all that does is bring you opportunity because you've got the book out there that's concise that people are reading because it doesn't put them off because it's too thick.
Yep.
And at the same time, now you have more information that you probably put down and intended to be in that book but didn't end up in the book. Now you can put that on your website and refer people to your blogs that are full of content.
That's right.
That's really useful to them and drive traffic.
You got to be a content creator. Gary Vaynerchuk, the #1 social media influencer in the world, always talks about it. Video content, blogs, the written word. Get that video content, get that written word out there, and even verbal as well, you know, is going to be definitely something. So yeah, hey, great stuff. Lisa Wall, senior writer, theghostpublishing.com. Thanks so much. Anything else you'd like to add?
No, I would just suggest that now is the time. People need to hear from fresh, positive voices. If you've thought of it, if you've contemplated it, now is the time. You've weeded your garden. Look, you've painted everything that has paint in your house. We've all binged watched all the shows we've been waiting to watch.
Yeah.
We're done with that.
That's
Let's move on. Let's do something really positive.
Absolutely. All right, good stuff. Lisa Walls, thanks so much for joining us. Say hello to Eli and the team as well at theghostpublishing.com.
Thanks.
All right, when we come back, we got a feel-good story of the day for you. Nurse stops to save a life on the way to her daughter's wedding. Also, executive show producer James D. Jerome's going to join us in studio as well. And we'll be right back after this short break. Don't go anywhere.
Hey, I'm Ken Shamrock, and you're here with Consumer Quarterback Show. And I say, Brandon Rhymes, knock out your competition.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com. You're listening to the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
All right, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. Brandon Rhymes here. I'm your host of the show, Consumer Quarterback Show here. And we want to help you win in any marketplace. That's always our goal. And save our hotline number in case you need it, 813-670-7372. And we'll put you right in touch with all of our expert contributors, 813-670-7372. That's our consumer advocate hotline. You can call or text that line. Any questions, comments from the show. The number one goal is to help you win here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. We want to help you win as your consumer advocate. And giving a shout out to Golf Cart Depot, one of our show sponsors, the Golf Cart Depot of Tampa Bay. Marty and his team, they do a great job over there. Test drive today. Support local economy here by supporting local area businesses. They've got the Easy Go, Star EV, Icon electric vehicles, Cushman, and pre-owned and remanufactured property or golf carts available from the Golf Cart Depot. Make sure you let them know the real estate quarterback sent you. Take them up on those special offers and incentives just by mentioning that you're a fan of the Consumer Quarterback Show. And we got a lot of vacant land listings. I want to have Rob just kind of scroll through maybe some of our vacant land, and I'll comment on some of them. I've got a dozen or so vacant properties available. 1401 Seminole Boulevard in Largo, 0.82 acres on the corner, ideal for office, medical, retail, restaurants, goods, and services. Great opportunity in Pinellas County. 4214 Peaceful Lane, Land O'Lakes, 8 lots, 5 of which are on the waterfront right there on Bell Lake, which is a 90-acre ski lake. Owners motivated. Great opportunity for builder developers. And, this one's Hamlin Road this is up in Pasco County, Hamlin Road. We got 41 acres up there on Hamlin. That is a property available, 12500 Hamlin Road, Spring Hill, 41 acres. Great opportunities. Check out all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com. That's platinummvpteam.kw.com. All right, every day we're going to tell you something good in our feel-good story of the day.
Tell me something good.
Okay, so a nurse in Nebraska is being hailed a hero for stopping to save a life on the way to her daughter's wedding. Jody DeMauro headed to her daughter Haley's ceremony when she came across a 2-car pileup about a mile from her home near the Nebraska-Kansas border. Quote, my mom was on her way to my wedding when she witnessed a terrible accident, end quote. Haley Krull said on Facebook post, being an ER nurse for 35 plus years, she sprang into action to help save a life. Dumro kept a woman's airway open while they waited for paramedics to arrive. She also called the fire life flight helicopter to the scene. DeMauro did all this dressed in her long gown for the wedding. Quote, people were talking about the lady wearing gloves and a pretty dress who was saving lives, Krull's post said. And quote, my mom said she's just really careful not to get blood on her dress, as she knew that she had to walk me down the aisle later. DeMauro arrived just 10 minutes before the wedding was supposed to start. Quote, I'm sorry I'm late. I had to save a life, she told Haley. Only my mom, the nurse, Haley says.
What a good story. As if you didn't have enough to remember from your wedding day. You get something like that, that you'll never forget that for the rest of your life. That'll just be something.
That's right.
And then the other part of that is you're a victim and you're helpless. And there's a woman coming at you dressed in a formal gown and says, don't worry, I got it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, man, that's James D. Jerome weighing in there, our show producer, the backup quarterback. Does a great job, by the way, James, for, when you fill in. I really appreciate all you do on that.
Well, I appreciate the opportunity, Brandon. It's fun. The show's good. It makes you feel good doing something good. So it's a good thing. And Mold Zero today, I was so excited. Brandon Faust, a new member of the team for us, and I like learning about new stuff all the times. He can't make it today, he's so busy. And Aaron comes in and knocks it out of the park, knows more stuff than Brandon. So it's amazing how it works that way.
Yeah, the detail that they have in the knowledge. And when you think about all of our expert contributors, there's just so many great ones, and some that haven't been on the show in a while. But I just talked to Jay Smith,
right.
A Snoop Inspection, the other day. I had an issue come up with a breaker box on an inspection. He's like, yep, that's one that you got to take a look at. You got to take a hard look at that one. That's the number one breaker box issue.
Nothing like having a resource, a phone call away that you can trust that'll help help you out. And the home service side for us is just amazing. The partners that we've collected, 3D Solar. I know David and Travis were here just the other day, constantly talking about standing behind the product, customer service, living and dying with referrals. The AC guy of Tampa Bay, Greg, same kind of thing. Wants to be your advocate, trying to help you as much as he can. He has a great knowledge in this area. Talked about Chuck on the show already with Suncoast.
Yep.
We got Dan and Melissa over at Pro Health Pest Control. And those guys are always interested in helping out, a phone call away. Of course, Ray Hall's always here, and Ray will tell you exactly what your value is. I love how he cuts right through it. Everyone thinks they know how much this is worth. My house is, you look at what I've got.
Yeah.
Let a professional tell you exactly what the value is and how to figure out what your value is.
Yeah, exactly. You got to look at the trends of real estate as well. Where are we at? Where's the market? What's happening? What's trending? And right now you got so many people moving from New York, New Jersey, California, those high tax states. You got people moving out of those urban areas where you have, a lot of the protesting going on, a lot of that kind of stuff. So many trends to consider and look at when you look at real estate.
And the thing about real estate, again, we have so many partners that are involved in it, but we just had Manny on the other day with Fabre.
Yeah, that's right.
And they talk about technology and how it helps these folks shop online. And this whole COVID thing has made everything virtual.
Yeah.
So the real estate doesn't stop. You guys never stop. Manny's doing everything he can to make this thing seamless. Get online, check it out. We're going to be there for you. So just like all our partners, man, Fred DeFelice. When he comes in and talks about the water, you just really don't know unless you get it tested what you're drinking. And think about that. You really don't know.
Pharmaceuticals in there, all kinds of stuff. The pharmaceutical microplastics in our drinking water, and he's got a solution for it as well.
I tell you, that's the thing about the Consumer Quarterback Show is our partners are there for you. And check them out. They're all online on consumerqb.com.
Yeah, that's right. Fred Mew, Tampa Screens and Aluminum, longtime friend of the program. William Crowley, the credit magician. Diane Vance, Fairway Independent Mortgage.
Just talking with Linda and Kirsty from Gulfside, and they're dealing with this thing. Can you imagine having a family member? It's being taken care of. That's a concern, man. You really want to make sure they're on top of it. What a great partner they are for us. And, of course, Clyde out at the Bilmar. I always want to hear from him about what's going on at the beach. We've just done the best we can for you folks out there. And then our legal side. Man, we've got some really impressive folks on the legal side.
Yeah.
We talk about Jason Coble all the time. We just heard from Millie recently. She was out here. Millie's another new partner for us. Frank Charles Miranda sends Lauren over. We've had Stephanie on if Frank can't do it himself.
Yep.
I mean, we've got a lot of resources there. Joe Kearns. I love having Joe on. He's got all the good stories for us all the time. Yeah. Joe Pippin. So, I mean, we really go out of our way. We have a lot of resources for you out there, folks.
Yeah, and it's up to you to engage. We want you to think about this show as the hub of your financial, your business, your legal team. All of those spokes extending out, representing another one of our preferred partners, our on-air contributors, legal analysts, and expert contributors on the Consumer Quarterback Show. So we'd love to engage with you, have you reach out. We've had an uptick in calls lately, so we thank you so much for those that are calling in, leveraging our resources, our insurance experts, and all the different folks associated with the show. Reach out to our hotline. We'd love to connect you. 813-670-7372, consumerqb.com, and 813-670-7372, consumerqb.com. And we are interviewing right now. We have a few select spots and openings for show partners. So if you know somebody that would be good on air, we can have them reach out, and we'd love to talk to them.
You never can see all the possibilities. I didn't realize that the Zoom was going to be what Zoom is, and I didn't see all these things coming down the road. So there's a technology vendor or someone out there that's got a product. Don't be afraid to call us, and let's see if we can work something out for you.
Absolutely. All right, good stuff. Hey, another great show. I want to thank our contributors, all of our expert contributors, our production team, everybody behind the scenes making it happen. And we want you to please go out there and consider committing a random act of kindness, do something kind for one another, be a force for good in the community, and we'll see you next time right here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Check out consumerqb.com.
You've been listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes. Whether it's real estate, consumer, or financial advice, let Brandon call your next play. Contact Brandon Rhymes at 813-670-7372. That's 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com. And join us next time